Hey, it's another week with this one's got a lot of bikes and a lot of bridges, and the cycle continues. I once again did not win the lottery, but that's fine. Did you know Google has a brick and mortar search engine? I'm just kidding, that's their office. Look at these noodles. Speaking of carbs, I did the Five Boro Bike Tour on Sunday. It's a 40-mile bike ride through the 5 boroughs of New York. Thursday, I had to go pick up all my paperwork, like my bib and helmet cover, and it was quite an operation. They had a little exit through the gift shop situation, so I met some nice people and I bought a new lock. Then I headed uptown for a spot at a show called Bomb Shelter Comedy.
Who here is working on their gut microbiome? Anybody? Where are my kombucha people at?
Uh-oh, the bomb's inside the shelter. Friday, the weather was fantastic. I met up with a friend who was out of town. We went to Veselka. It's one of my favorite restaurants in New York. The weather was so nice, I decided to walk across the Williamsburg Bridge. You have to do that when the weather's nice. It should be mandated by the mayor. If the weather's like this, you gotta walk across the bridge. Saturday was mostly dogs and local politics. My wife had to talk to the campaign of David Orkin, who's running against our sitting Assemblywoman, Jennifer Rajkumar, who forged a bunch of signatures, including my wife's, to get herself on the ballot for the primary. So if you live in District 38 in Queens, vote for David Orkin because he doesn't cheat. Back to the fun stuff now. It's Sunday and it's pretty early in the morning. It's a little bit chilly. Five Boro Bike Tour is today. I'm taking a little bit of the train and riding partially by bike to the Staten Island Ferry to meet up with a longtime friend, Jerry, who's going to ride the tour with me. He came in from outside of Philly, and I'm going to ride my folding bike, and he's not going to ride that. That would be impressive, though. He's actually going to ride his daughter's bike because it was more comfortable than his. But anyway, we're both riding 40 miles, and it's going to be fun. And the rest of this video is pretty much just going to be me talking over footage of this bike tour. So you don't have to just keep watching. Leave it on and walk away if that's not your thing. But yeah, it started kind of slow. There's like 32,000 people involved in this thing. We were in wave 4, so we started at a pretty reasonable hour. And, I'd never done this before. I'd only ever heard about it. I've seen YouTube videos. So that's how I knew what possibly to expect, but overall it was like a pretty fucking awesome experience. You get to just ride around New York with the streets closed off with guides. They have like repair guys here in case something goes wrong with your bike. They have people directing traffic. It doesn't always help the pedestrians understand what's going on, but it's still a nice smooth ride with a lot of people who are in a good mood. And people come from like all over the world to do this. It's a 40-mile ride. It's not even, that's far, but it's not that far. All kinds of weird bikes. This guy, that was one of like 4 penny farthings. You cross a lot of bridges that you don't normally get to cross as a cyclist in New York. Here's this one. We're going over into the Bronx for a little bit. You don't spend hardly any time in the Bronx. So if seeing the Bronx by bicycle was your goal in the Five Boro Bike Tour, don't do it. Just take your bike to the Bronx. It was an easy pace. If you wanted to race, I guess you could sign up early and go for it. But for the most part, real chill ride. Didn't have much trouble keeping up. They had a lot of break areas.
Where are we at right now? I don't know. Washington Heights?
Wrong, we were not in Washington Heights. We were in Harlem. But you don't like look at a map when you're doing this. That's the beauty of it. No GPS. You're just kind of following signals. You're following the crowd, and you're going where things go. You're not worried about like making a wrong turn. You're just riding, you're chatting, you're smiling, you're staying hydrated. That's very important, because a lot of these bridges were a bit of a climb, but then you get that downhill on the other side. It's kind of like life, huh? Stayed loose, talked to people, took a picture of this couple, probably the best picture that's ever been taken of them. They gave me their phone and I did right by them. Look at the sun even came out when I took the camera. My wife met me in Williamsburg with the dog, this is the most excited she's ever been to see me. The dog, not my wife. Maybe it was the bicycle, I really don't know, but I'll take it. The weather was good overall. It got insanely windy at one point.
In my back.
Oh my God!
What the fuck?
It's not a super long ride, but you know, you start to feel it. Body keeps the score, as they say.
Oh no.
Well, that cobblestone's so charming until you're on a bike with 20-inch tires.
I just had a brief panic where I was like, why am I getting on the highway?
Riding a bike on the highway is a lot of fun. It's a little bit surreal. And you do have that moment where you're like, I should not be on here on a bicycle. Then you get over that and it's freeing. But then you start thinking like, man, this is like The Walking Dead or something. Like, this is real post-apocalyptic. Like, what if we have to do this? And you know, none of the cars work, and then we've all got to ride bikes out of the city. It would be fun for a minute because you'd be like, well, I'm riding a bike, but then you'd be like, but you know, that's all I'll ever ride for the foreseeable future. I think I'd be fine in a zombie apocalypse. You know, I grew up hunting, so if I had to shoot something in the head, I have the stomach for it. But it's not, you know, a lot of life I hope that any of us really have to experience for any extended period of time. So anyway, we hit the Verrazano Bridge, which is like the home stretch, and it's a long one. It's over 2.5 miles long, and like I said, it was windy. It was still windy. It was even more windy on that bridge, you know, going over the water. And man, if I ever had to run from zombies, please don't ever let it be on the Verrazano Bridge. As we approach the finish, well, it was technically the finish, it was the end festival. We still had to get back to the ferry, but they were playing Smash Mouth just to get you through that last push.
Thank you.
They have a little festival area with, you know, restrooms, water, food trucks, sponsors, and security. The final leg is the ride back to the ferry, which I thought would be uneventful, but it had some pretty solid views. You know, everybody was in a good mood. We were all having a hard time getting back on our bikes, which was fun to hear the collective groan of people who had just ridden 37 miles try to sit back down on a bike seat. It hurts. Jerry and I parted ways. He headed back to Pennsylvania. I headed to the ferry, well, to the line for the ferry. They used the car ferry to load us all in and get us back to Manhattan. What an adventure. It is fun to ride bikes. It's fun to ride bikes with your friends, especially. It's a thing, a lot of people think that they've outgrown or something, but that I don't understand. You know, it's fun to ride bikes when you're a kid. It's fun to ride bikes when you're an adult. Try it. I think it's just vanity. You think you look stupid on a bike, and you do. You look really dumb. You dress dumb. You're kind of awkward. You're wearing a helmet, but who gives a shit? This lady looks cool on a bike. She's an exception. You know, bikes kind of connect you to what's around you. You know what I mean? And I didn't mean for this to become like a bike advocacy page, but I do feel like they put you in the community more and make you aware of people. Even if they're about to hit you with a scooter, you know that they're there. You see your city, you see the road, you see things and you smell things, and it's good exercise. And gas is $4.50 a gallon right now. So thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you around.